Oh shit! I forgot.
Hi, and welcome back to Scored. They say money can't buy you happiness, but in Fairmount Crest, it certainly buys a front row seat to chaos. Last week on Beyond the Gates, friendships weren't just fractured, they were scorched. From Nicole and Vanessa's icy showdown to Bill throwing Andre under the bus, the power plays reached a fever pitch. If you thought the Gates kept out danger, think again. Let's get into the weekly breakdown of Beyond the Gates, episodes 68 through 72. All right. Welcome back to Scored Friends. We are going to dive right in beyond these gates and get into the drama. Let's get into the baby slip comment. So, Bill accidentally calls Danny baby during the phone call right in front of Haley, and she is sitting there looking beautiful but stupid, okay? Because it's a gorgeous girl, right? She's gorgeous. But she's sitting up there looking stupid. So, given the long history between Bill and Danny, do you think it was just like a harmless fluke, a habit, or is Bill subconsciously still tied to Danny?
That man dreams about that woman when he masturbate. I mean,
Or Danny.
when, when, when he takes care of himself, he's thinking about Danny. Okay, that's what I'm saying.
Yes, I agree. Danny is unforgettable. She got the craziest, most beautiful eyes I've ever seen in my life. Um, but I don't think it was just like a harmless muscle memory type thing. He is in love and still infatuated all at the same time with Miss Danny
Yes.
Dupree. Because I mean, who wouldn't be? Who would not be? So
She's a beautiful woman. I mean, you know.
now Haley, little scamming ass. Oh my goodness. I loved every second of watching her sit up there and look stupid. My goodness.
But I think she played it well, considering everything that she has going on, what she has in motion. I think she played it well. No need to highlight this, if you will, because she's gonna have her day a little bit later. So it was wonderful the way in which she played it off.
Yes, yes. I love watching her play the villain, but I'm always a fan of a good villain. Like I want to see you in the Kroger's and punch you in the face that you have done your job so well in acting as a villain. I love it. I love it. But my goodness, nothing can top Leslie. But look at that. That's my love. I again agree with you. Just a gorgeous, gorgeous person. But I can pretty much gather lots of people want to fight Leslie as well as she plays her role.
Have you seen the social media clip of her? She's going through the airport and people are stopping her and they're like having a conversation with her. Clearly they know that she is not Leslie, but you know that they're telling her what they think ought to happen with her character and all this other good stuff. And it was
Oh
just like it was so many people and at the airport at the same time. And so I was just like, this particular show is penetrating.
yes. Okay, and we love the penetration. Okay, and so look, famous and infamous all at the same time. Gotta love
Okay.
it. Gotta
Okay.
love it. All right, so let's get into this friend drama with Vanessa and Nicole. So after the double date from Hades, right? You have these two best friends that have a candid conversation to try to address the elephant in the room. Um, do you feel like their friendship is truly salvageable, or is Vanessa's association with Joey has it changed her too much to trust Nicole or Nicole to trust her?
I don't think it's changed her too much. I think it has basically highlighted who she really is, and I don't think that Nicole ever really saw that from her. I think that Vanessa is doing her best to hold on to the friendship that they have, and I think, in my opinion, I think that Nicole is just coming on too strong. She's too opinionated
Yes.
about how she feels about this man.
You have to learn to separate. I agree with you wholeheartedly. I 100% believe Vanessa is authentically being who she is. Um, Nicole is naughty Nikki, as Leslie calls her now, where she's starting to loosen the reins up in her own personal life. She has this kind of double standard, if you will, being very rigid with the way she's handling her friendship with Vanessa. Now, don't get me wrong, Vanessa is not my favorite character on the show, but I do feel like the way in which she's handling the situation, Nicole, I mean, it's too over the top. Let it go. Let the friendship be the friendship, and let this adult make adult decisions.
Yeah. We don't like every decision that our friends make. Sometimes they do what's best for them and their personality, their character. And as a friend, you've got to let them be them, right? And just support them if and when shit goes to hell.
That part, if and when. And so it'd be different if, as a friend, they're coming to you every 5 seconds complaining about the person or something like that and inviting you into the situation. That's one thing versus you're having this vendetta against the person that they're with and just making it about your friendship as opposed to just being a friend. Just, gotta know when to fall back. So to me, it just kind of shows not only a lot of judgment on her part, but a little bit of immaturity. A little bit of immaturity, because it's just like, you overly involved. Let that go. Let it go.
So here's the question: how much of it was friendship, and how much of it was her profession, percentage-wise? Because that's what I was struck with when I was watching. I was just like, I don't know if my friends would ever act or react in that way, but I've never had a friend who's a psychologist or a psychiatrist.
I think just thinking about the character Nicole, I think a lot of it is her profession because she does it to everyone. So I think that profession is so commingled with your personality. It's hard to differentiate the two at times, because even the way that, if you pay attention to her body language with how she approaches conversations with nearly everyone, it's always a couch moment. Like, you're shrinking my head. Like, just shoot straight. We don't have to do this. So I would agree that a lot of that, percentage wise, I would say probably 80% is the profession.
Okay.
All right. So this steamy Kat, Eva, Isaiah triangle.
By the way, I'm loving it.
It is something to see.
It's 3 sexy people, and I love it.
It's a very, very, very attractive cast in general. But watching these 3 young people, oh my goodness. So, we have Kat, who is intentionally flirting with Isaiah, just to get under Eva's skin right after she kind of pseudo extends the olive branch at her birthday dinner after getting the good news about her grandmother.
By the way, that was some crazy shit. How you go from that to that? You know what I'm saying? Like, at least let it, like, become something. Now it's like you're picking. When you extended the olive branch, it would be something different if Eva came at her in that particular way. But no, it was her. It was like, why did you do that?
Just so you can turn around and say, see, look, I told y'all she was this, but you keep poking at her. And that part I don't very much care for about Kat. And so do you feel like Kat is justified in pulling that stunt that she pulled, given Leslie's interference, or is she playing a dangerous game with the family emotions?
Given Leslie's interference, what are you talking about?
So, Leslie continues to come at Kat. They have this back and forth. Which is, to me, that's not Eva's fault. But
so when it comes to Kat and Eva, on one level, I understand why Kat feels the way that she does about Eva. But after a certain point, like let's say a month or two, let that go. That's your sister. Let it go.
Only half, as Kat would say. No, baby, it don't matter. That's your blood. So I'm. Whereas I love the little Nancy Drew thing, again, quoting Leslie, that Kat has going on at times. Just some things about her character are very off-putting. Um, and so it's just like, okay, Kat, your immaturity, your privilege, your little mean girl side, all of these things are showing. All of these things are showing, and I'm not a huge fan of it. But I think she is just the cutest little thing, though. I really do think so. So is Eva. And my God, Isaiah. Whew. I don't know where they picked them from.
You know what I love? I love when Leslie says when she's talking about Isaiah, that man is
Leslie ignorant. Look, so if you had to go to lunch with one person from Beyond the Gates, who you going to lunch with?
If I want to die laughing, I'm going with Leslie. Because I'm laughing at her. I'm laughing at the shit she says, what she does, who she ends up talking to. Because she's gonna get into an argument with somebody, and I just want to be there. I want to be there.
Yes. Okay. We're gonna have to get you on a lunch date with Leslie. Record the whole thing, from the entree, the appetizer, all of it. All right. So our girl Haley. So she's still actively poisoning Bill while simultaneously trying to pressure Bill into get this penthouse for Lynette. So with Bill becoming more suspicious and kind of questioning her motives, how much longer can she maintain this charade before he or the doctors uncover the truth? So how much longer do you think this is going to last?
Well, in true soap opera fashion, if they can extend this out for 2 years, they're going to try. In reality, I would give it maybe about a month. It seems as if this storyline is wrapping up. At least that's the way it seems. I'm not certain about that, of course. But it just seems like the storyline is wrapping up. What I'm most interested in is how she will rebound after this. That's what I'm most interested in.
And I'm wondering, obviously she is a scammer. But if they're going to get into a bit more of Haley's backstory, as things kind of unfold, because we know that she and Randy are cousins. We know that she's been scamming for quite some time, but I'm always interested in the why behind the what. I don't believe that people are just inherently born evil, or what have you. Of course, there are exceptions to everything, but I'm just interested to see a little bit more of her backstory, especially how amazingly conniving she is.
She is. She's a wonderful femme fatale. However, when it comes to her cousin Randy, it seems like they're trying to build his own backstory, especially when I forget her name, but she works for Nicole. She was just like, I see you. You are inherently good. You're a good person. And remember, in season 1, he didn't. Who?
Marsha or something. The black lady with the cute, short, natural.
Yeah. Her. He didn't kill someone that he was supposed to kill. He basically kept them alive, right? And so I think the writers are thinking, okay, if we keep this guy as part of the cast, who will he be? Because these people, I believe in my heart of hearts, they're not going to get rid of Haley. And I think by extension, they're not going to get rid of her cousin. So I'm thinking that the cousin Randy is going to be part of the cast. How will his role expand? Those are the type of things that I think about. I know that's not what most people think about. They're just, watching. But I love the way that all of this works out.
No, that's good. Those are great lines of questions because, ultimately that's depth of character, and why keep them around. So again, the why behind the what. So no, it's not bad questions. I like that. Speaking of Randy, he manages to create some sort of ruse with Lynette, gets her phone, and convinces Haley that he's gotten rid of Lynette. Do you trust his loyalty to Haley, or is he positioning himself to try to blackmail Haley instead?
I think for him, all of the above. I think everything is on the table. He's just trying to see how it plays itself out. I think he's working all angles. And depending on how things play out, he's going to have the right words to say to get himself out of trouble so that he remains on everybody's good side, except whoever it is that he decides to, I don't know, sell out.
I wonder what actually happened with Lynette. Um, I'm curious. They kind
I
of
don't
left
think,
kind of vague. I don't think he killed her.
no, no, no.
Um, not by any means. But I'm just wondering what happened and how that piece will unfold. I think like he and Haley are family, but Haley is dangerous,
She don't
and
care.
she does not. And I feel like Randy has flown under the radar for so long that Haley is pulling the strings more than Randy is, obviously. And I feel like she is gonna potentially blow up his spot if he's not careful. So I'm wondering just how this will play out.
And I think he recognized that, and I think he's working his escape hatch. Lord Jesus, I can't talk right now. But that goes to what I was saying a little bit earlier. I think he's figured all of this stuff out. He knows his cousin, and he also knows the situation. He knows it from everyone's point of view, because they're all talking to him, and so he's able to use the information that he's getting to kind of position himself.
Do you think well, which you did kind of discuss this just a few moments back about them more than likely keeping Randy around, but when you throw Joey Armstrong into the mix, is he going to be a problem for Joey? Do you foresee, because I mean he at one point um essentially ran him out of town,
Hmm.
um
Hmm.
only for them to bring Randy back. So
Hmm.
how will this affect um Randy if you put Joey in the mix, with all of the little things that Randy has going on?
I think Randy is going to recognize that, not Randy. I think Joey is going to recognize that Randy was trying to run game, but the game didn't really implicate him, meaning Joey. And so, if anything, his level of respect for Randy is going to increase, and he might be thinking, how can I use you more than the way in which I've been using you?
That's fair. All right. The hospital hack. Smitty, sweet, cute little Smitty. Um, with his current undercover investigative journalism thing going on that he has with Jacob, do you feel like Nicole is going to somehow be penalized for Smitty hacking into that computer?
Not at all. I don't think anything is going to happen to Nicole. I think, though, that Nicole is getting closer to realizing that Smitty has something to do with it. She's not there yet, not even close. And I think Smitty is going to play it off like, oh, I was just there, to talk to you. I didn't do anything. I didn't see anyone, that kind of stuff. And then that'll be it as far as Nicole is concerned. And I think what's going on with the hospital and the drugs and everything else, I think that the CEO or whatever her title is, I think that she's gonna get in trouble, and this little hack thing won't even be an issue.
Do you think the chief medical officer is at the top of the triangle? And then when I say the top, the very top, is she orchestrating everything with the plasma ring? I know it's kind of going into a different direction, or is she answering to someone above her?
Some kind of way, I think not Randy. I think Joey's involved.
I thought the same. Like, is he the
Only
wizard behind the curtain?
Only because when Vanessa was talking to him, and he was like, "Okay, the only advice that I'm going to tell you is that you're going to need someone who's going to run operations because I'm having all of these problems with scheduling and logistics and all of that other good stuff." And I think that he's referencing what's happening with the hospital.
I thought about that in the back of my mind too, like, oh, is this Joey? And then another thing that I thought, Grayson's mom, who allegedly has Parkinson's, and how he keeps Ashley away from meeting his mom every single time, you can think of. I'm wondering if the chief medical officer or whomever is Grayson's mom, because some of their interactions, she scolds him or whatever, but it's something about that dynamic that makes me feel like, is she low key his mom? I wonder.
And he's just trying to keep it low key.
Yes, the both of them.
Interesting.
So I don't know. I'm interested to see if I'm just grappling at nothing, or is there something there? I don't know. It's just a sneaking suspicion that they are somehow, like, that's his mother or somehow related. I don't know. But we shall see. So we have the patriarch, Vernon Dupree. Love him, love him, love him. So in this week's episode, they kind of weaved in now a new potential health concern for Vernon. So he reaches out to Madison after he's having these kind of memory lapses. How do you feel like this health scare will impact the Dupree family, given that we're just now on the back of receiving good news about Anita's remission?
I think the family would be devastated. It would be like a situation where you had both. One is ill, knocking on death's door, and then now you find out someone basically has a death sentence. They're about to die. And on top of the potentiality of dying, it will be a slow death where you get to see them deteriorate. Like, that's horrible.
Look, my goodness. Take Ashley off the show. Don't take Vernon. Please don't take Vernon. Please don't take Vernon off the show. Ashley can go.
Ashley, is that the model?
No. Oh no, that's Danny. Ashley is the nurse. Tied up with Grayson, and she and Derek had that story. So Ashley can go, Derek can go. Not Vernon. Don't take Vernon Dupree off the show. My goodness, I might stop watching for 3 months if they take Vernon off the show.
No.
And I do mean a consistent 3 months. I will be protesting. So Madison Montgomery. Madison Montgomery's malpractice. I know it's a lot of alliteration there. My goodness, I'm wondering if they'll ever actually put a face to her mom on the show. But do you think this malpractice suit is going to go anywhere, or did they just kind of, as the writers, throw this in there to kind of beef up what's going on with Madison and Chelsea, since that storyline sometimes is kind of flat? Okay, great. Chelsea came out. Now she's getting married to a doctor, and on and on and on. But with everything else that is happening behind the gates, that storyline is just kind of like, yeah. So did they throw this malpractice suit in there, just to kind of give life to this this couple or this dynamic, or I don't know. What are your thoughts?
Yes, I think so. I think when you have stars of a show, you want to give them storylines. I don't think that this particular storyline is going to penetrate as much because it doesn't really, it indirectly involves a main character, but it doesn't really affect the main character. So for me, like, I'll be honest with you, on Friday's episode, every time I saw it, I just fast forward.
It wasn't a heavy hitter. It was not. And if I'm being honest, this week's episode, in general, weren't the best that we've seen.
But that's okay. That's okay. We got to have fillers, right? We got to have fillers to kind of set things up.
100% agreed. We have Jacob, who is still 0 dark 30, deep cover. And so his wife Naomi meets him. He's bruised up. Do you feel like he feels like he's in too deep to walk away? But is this sense of duty to protect the community and this mission that he's on, is it worth the toll that it's taken on his wife and his family?
Okay, so this is unpopular opinion. She knew what she was getting herself into when she married a police officer who communicated to her that he wanted to be a detective. That's the life. I get her apprehension. I do. But at the same time, you got to stop with all of that, making him second guess himself. This is the thing. If he's out doing whatever it is that he's doing, he can't have those thoughts in his head running around. He's going to second guess himself. He can't do that. So you gotta lay off. He don't get involved with your practice. So don't get involved. At the same time, I get it. That is your husband. And you want him to be there around at all times. But there's a line. And I think that she's crossing that line.
So I 1000% agree with everything you just stated. Couldn't have stated it better. Here's my problem with this situation and why I feel like Jacob was not ready to go undercover. He should have never given Naomi that burner phone. He should not be meeting up with her. That shows, you're not ready, because you're putting your family at risk, you're putting yourself at risk, and the investigation that you're so hell-bent on bringing down this plasma ring. You're making all of these sideways moves that just aren't very wise. So I feel like, in essence, to surmise, he sucks as an undercover cop. He absolutely sucks. He does. He's absolutely terrible as an undercover cop. And I know it's easy to say, but there's a reason why I'm not a police officer, let alone a detective who wants to prove myself and be undercover, because
that is the thing. He wants to prove himself. He wants to prove himself to his dad more than anything else. It's for the approval to make your father proud. That more than anything is what's driving him, and that's not wise. That's not wise, especially when he's tangling his wife into the picture, as you said.
Yes, and so with Naomi, I am a bit exhausted with her blowing up the phone, but at the same time, if I take a step back, I'm looking at Jacob more sideways in the first place, because you should have never done that. That was stupid. You shouldn't have done that.
But you know what I'm hoping for? I'm hoping for a courtroom drama. I need it. I want it. It's time. We see the hospital all the time. Okay, good, great. Give me that courtroom drama. I want to be like, I want those.
Yes, give me Bill, who went to Alcorn in real life, in a bad suit with Naomi. Some of them suits be horrible. My goodness. Yes. But I would love to see that as well. I agree with you, because my God, I see what is it called? Whatever Memorial Hospital. That was the name of the hospital.
I want to say Herman Memorial so bad, but I know that's not it.
It'll come to me whenever it's too late. All right. Moving forward, before we close out, your person that you're just not infatuated with his character as much as I am, but Martin.
Who?
Martin. See.
Oh.
Martin. So Martin's political ambition. So Bill warned Martin against running for Senate because of his problematic past, if you will. Do you think Martin should heed Bill's warning, or is Bill just trying to maintain control over the family's image and kind of micromanage things?
No, I agree. I agree that he shouldn't make that step. Not now. I mean, all of this just happened a year ago, right? This was last summer when we found out everything that was happening,
Yes.
and I mean, he killed a man. Or was it two? At least one.
He killed one, and the other one was killed on his behalf.
Now, don't get me wrong. I get why. Well, I don't think I'm supposed to say these words on YouTube, but but he did that. He did that. I understand why he did that, but and I think most people would understand it, but you've got to understand that, like, in the court of public opinion, at the end of the day, this is what he did, and they're going to hear that before they hear his side of things, right? And so that would only harm him politically.
100%. Whereas I feel like they've, developed the relationship between he and Smitty, and he has the illusion of not being selfish anymore. The fact that you are running all together, like, you just get somewhere and sit down.
Plus, realistically, if if he becomes a senator, that means that his sphere of influence would increase, and as a character, we wouldn't see him as often. You know what I'm saying? And so I don't know if they want to do that with his character.
I'm interested to see where things are going to go beyond these gates. Any questions or comments that you'd like to make from this week's episodes?
I do want to say that you did a really good job. Like, there were storylines that I was like, she's not going to capture that storyline, and you did. Like, we talked about it, and so I was like, oh wow. So no, I'm here for it. You did an excellent job.
Well, yes, my goodness, beyond the treachery, there's a lot going on beyond these gates. So I'm interested to see how next week's episodes will compare to this week's. Again, not a complete snooze fest this week, but wanting to see a little bit more go on next week. So hopefully you guys will join us next week on Scored. Do not forget to like and comment and subscribe. And thank you for joining us with the chaos beyond the gates.